Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Kevin 7. Absolutely amazing podcast we got going on. And today we have special guest.
Tyler Bealmear.
Absolutely amazing guy right here. This is going to be an amazing little episode we have planned for you. I'm very happy to have a guest on this one. It's going to be spectacular. Yeah, so how's your day been going?
It's been going pretty well.
Going well? What were you up to today?
Went for a bike ride.
Bike ride?
Yeah, rode to Pelzer today.
That's quite a little bike ride. I just had to work today, that's all. So, you excited?
For tonight?
For a night at Bealmear, for the podcast, for everything going on.
Super excited. Yeah, everything we got going on.
All right, well, let's jump right into the little questionnaire here. Are you familiar with the premise of Kevin 7?
I haven't seen any of the episodes, so I don't know the questions you're about to ask, but
okay.
I've heard having 7 questions asked of me.
Yes. Nice, simple 7-question format. Potential bonus questions. I don't think you have any though, I'm not going to lie. But it's always potential. So let's get it nice started with question number 1. Why did you get started with comedy?
I always loved comedy. I started coming to the Up Next open mic when it was at Swanson's Warehouse downtown. About February, I went for about a month and then started going there. And pretty quickly after coffee, maybe even the next week, sometime around mid-March.
Nice.
Just thinking like, this looks like fun, something I've always wanted to do.
I like that. And how long have you been doing it now?
Since mid-March. So
Okay, that's a pretty solid amount of time, and like you've been doing a lot too. You travel a lot for it, certainly.
I've definitely gotten the bug. I've been going every night that I have off, pretty much somewhere that has an open mic, whether it's Atlanta or Asheville or next I got Charlotte. I want to go to Columbia and Charleston and do their open mic scenes. I went to visit my brother in New York about a week or two ago and did a bunch up there. That was fun.
I know. I saw you posted up. You'll be in like Athens tomorrow, right?
Yeah, doing my first open mic in Athens tomorrow.
Oh, you haven't been there yet? Did you have to register?
I've been there.
Or is it like
it's kind of pre-register. I emailed them. They do it once a month, so I emailed them around the time of their last month's show, and then was just like, "Hey, can I get on?" And they were like, "Yeah, can you do 8 minutes?" And I was like, "Yes." And so they're.
That sounds like it'll be a good show right there.
Yeah, it's kind of like the one I did in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. It's more of a show. You kind of register ahead of time, and they put a lot of comics that are seasoned and good in between everyone. So there's not the drawl of energy when you have 2 comics that aren't hitting.
Where were you at in Atlanta?
It's called Laughing Skull.
Oh, I've heard of that place.
Yeah, Laughing Skull is great.
That seems like a great place. I want to look into if I'd be able to go there or not, because I know they're like.
Yeah, you just have to email them. They'll tell you they'll give you a date like a month or 5 weeks out.
Well, I know they're 21 only. Not quite there yet.
Yeah, then you just tell them that, and they'll schedule you one in October whenever you turn 21.
Little birthday event. I go up there for the birthday.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good show because they typically sell out the whole place, and it's they're paying money to be there. It's like Comedy Zone if it was full. People are paying to be there, so they're invested. They wanted to be a good show, and there's a nice energy because the whole place is full. And people are laughing, so it's a good time. I really enjoyed myself. I actually just flew from New York to Atlanta and just did the mic. Took the Greyhound back to Greenville.
Didn't even know you could take a Greyhound to Greenville.
You can.
Hey, learn something new every day.
Don't suggest it, but you can.
So, with your next question, who or what would you say inspires you the most?
Inspires me?
Yeah. When it comes to getting that creative mind.
When it comes to comedy?
What inspires you?
I think just things that I find funny, and that can be really anything. I think when I started, I was just writing down any little thought that I thought was funny. Now, what I really like to tell on stage are things that are have parts of being true. That's really fun to be open and honest on stage and also get laughs. It's more like an element of letting the crowd in on who you are. It's, I don't want to compare it to therapy, but it's a little cathartic to just say it and make it part of your act. A lot of the established comedians, they establish who they are as a person on stage by telling jokes about their life. And they don't have to be 100% true, but whatever part of it's true feels good to have that basis in reality. And for me, it just makes it more fun to tell on stage. So just writing about even like the mundane parts of living with my mom or something like that is something for me. She actually came to Comedy Zone last week and saw my set there for the first time. She came here when I hosted, however long ago that was, maybe a month or 6 weeks ago. But it's a little different. It wasn't just like 5 minutes of me. It was kind of me just, all right, here's the next person, which is cool, but like not the same thing. And to telling those jokes in front of her was cool too.
Yeah.
Because she got to laugh at.
She very supportive of the whole thing?
Yeah. She's not like on it. She doesn't like know. Like she still asks me after coming here since March, literally every single Monday doing the same thing. She's like, where are you going tonight? And I'm like, well, it's Monday. Like, you know, I'm going to Coffee Underground and I'm going to Poe Mill, or what was Swanson's, you know.
She gets what you're doing. She's just not.
Yeah, she's like supportive of fully. And I even told her, I was like, Comedy Zone's not the one you should come to. I was like, you know, you're gonna have to pay.
Yeah, that's what I've
money,
told people
but they just had the night off, and that was the night they really wanted to come, and they didn't mind spending that little bit of money to come in, and they had a good time. So
yeah,
it was good. It was also a light night. Like we ended really early. There weren't as many comics as normal.
Okay, so with your next question, you've talked about a lot of big moments you've had and amazing things you've done. What would you say are some of your like career highlights though?
I don't know about career highlights. I'm working now on sets. I think when I started, I was just doing bits. I was like, this bit works, and it's worked for me. It's gotten certain jokes to work and gotten me a certain charisma as on stage, as opposed to someone who just does the same 5 minutes every single time they go up. They might have perfected that 5 minutes, but to step out of that, they're uncomfortable with because that's all they have ever known. But now I want to start doing more sets where I go up and I can kind of hammer it and work on this 5 minutes and that be my set for a little while. You know, like some comics that you probably have seen around, they're like, oh, I've seen this joke before. I've seen maybe even this whole set. You know, it's like, I don't know. To me, that didn't sound fun at first because I'm like, no one laughed last week. Why am I just going to do the same 5 minutes, you know? Like,
just trying to make the little tweaks here and there.
Yeah, and to me, it's like, how do you judge whether it's just a bad joke or it's not going to work, or I should just cut it completely? And I don't know. For me, I'd just rather have a repertoire of jokes that I'm working on. And I don't even know what the question was, but what was the third question?
It was about like what your highlights are.
Oh,
like
highlights.
What you'd say they
are. I mean, I've only been on 2 shows, and those were free shows that Aaron put on.
Yeah.
That I wasn't booked or asked to be on. I showed up and he was like, you want to do some time? So I wouldn't say, I don't know. I guess for me, it's just getting good laughs. For me, it's not about being famous or having followers or even touring necessarily. You know, I really like what Aaron's doing his own tour. But I think for me, it's just being as funny as possible. Like getting off stage and being like, oh my God, dude, you're fucking hilarious. Like, and just that energy that comes with it. Last Wednesday, went to Clock Tower, and Ryan's hosting it, and there's a woman that's a nurse and kind of disrupting and being obnoxious to other people's sets before me, and was talking during my set, and I clipped it, but that was probably the biggest, probably the biggest laugh. Like, the entire place is just on fire.
Yeah, that place is good. I meant to show up that Wednesday, but I missed it.
She definitely like caused it by the antics she had done before. Yeah. You know, she had like put a target on her back. She had like interrupted other people's sets and like been called out and been talked to by other comics, not necessarily derogatorily. And then with that energy, it was easier to go into anything else I wanted and have their energy still with me. You know, like part of crushing is like getting a good joke and then like keeping that same energy, which I am really bad at, is like, and like looking at my notes or just sucking the energy and being like, all right, now I'm like moving on in my head to the next bullet point, which is the next joke, which just kills the crowd And yeah, highlights being on 2 shows of Aaron's. They were great. They were really fun. The first show I was ever on, I showed up at Aaron's show at the library in Taylor's, and he's advertised it as a silent show. No one can talk, make noise during the show. So I show up and he's like, "You're a comic, right?" I was like, I'm trying. And he's like, "You want to open?" He's like, "It's got to be clean." And I've told them not to laugh. And I was just like, just ready, wanting to get at the chance. And so I was like, yes. And it went well. People were laughing against their better judgment. They were like, I tried to do crowd work with someone and they're like, "Aaron told me not to talk. I can't talk, I'm just like, fuck. All right, moving on. We're going to do jokes then. Yeah. The other one of Aaron's show was a 6 a.m. Park, Falls Park show. Super fun. He has, draws a big crowd. So definitely interesting. They just sat in a big row along on the wall and just listened to the 4 of us tell jokes for a while.
Aaron's got a real creative mindset with that sort of thing, I'd say.
Yeah, he is someone I really admire in comedy because he doesn't care.
He sure doesn't.
And that's, I think, what makes it so great and original. And I think, obviously, caring about his craft, he takes it very seriously, clearly. But he doesn't care the results in this moment necessarily. He's very long-range planning, and a lot of it's, the film of this is going to do better for me than, oh, cool, I made 15 comics bullshit laugh, who cares?
Yeah.
I made, however many followers, views, whatever that's, worth to him. I think it's awesome.
He's really big on the social aspect of it. I mentioned that in my last interview, but when it comes to the social media part of things, Aaron's a big inspiration.
Yeah, and he told me, he's like post. He's like, you got to post every day. And I think and I did that for a week, and then I did it for another week, and I was like, one, it's really hard to, you can't just all be stand-up. And he doesn't just post all stand-up. He posts clips of himself. He's making his real life funny, and I've just never been comfortable really putting my stand-up on. It's just I've never even posted material. It's just been mostly
the crowd work
stuff, or just interactions or beginnings or endings of my, it's riffs essentially that I'll never really repeat again mostly. And so I feel a little safer, which I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna no-name comic and post this shit. No one's gonna see it. No one's gonna see it if I post it, and no one's even gonna see me perform most likely anyway. So who cares? Just post it if you think it's funny, And I don't know. It's a really cool scene, a really supportive scene, depending on, it's cliquey just like every other comic scene, I'm sure, but you stick around long enough and enough people are nice enough to give you some opportunity to do something. And I'm still, I'm only a few months into it, so I'm kind of the squeaky wheel starting a lot of this. I got booked for my first show in September. I'm gonna start put my own show on in October, and so just kind of starting to do it myself if no one will put me on.
Hey, the shows will be great. I believe it. I think you got plenty of potential there. You'll do outstanding in them.
Appreciate it.
So, with the next question, it's you sort of started answering it some in your previous questions. What would you say your biggest goal right now is to achieve?
It's just to be as funny as possible.
Yes.
The rest whatever other goal, secondary goals will come. I think being undeniable and being funny is something that, and there's comics I see here that are undeniable that I think could be more successful if they had as much career ambition as other comics I see who have the career ambition. They're just not the same level of killing.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I think that's what I would rather have. I'd rather be killing it in a local scene, and every time I go up on stage, I can generally get the entire room to be ha, that.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 not the ha, or, cool. I've gotten claps from people. I'm don't fucking clap for me. I don't want your claps. Claps don't do anything for me. Claps are that was a clever joke, but it wasn't funny enough to laugh at. I'm then it gets cut. If you're clapping, then this isn't a funny joke. And my goal is, just to be undeniable by working on the jokes, by working on the presence, by working on just being comfortable. My biggest issue is the nervousness and the fear that goes into it, the panic and like the deer in the headlights feeling that comes into it.
I mean, surely with you traveling all around, you're starting to lose some of the nervousness with it, or how's it impacting you?
Oh, definitely. Like anytime you get on stage, you become, hopefully, if you're practicing good habits and you're filming your sets, hopefully, and being able to dissect some of your bad habits. For me, it's the energy thing and it's the filler words. Is a real mood killer. It's an aura killer. I've lost confidence in what this person, they don't know what they're about to say.
Is a big mistake I personally make right now. It's like so bad that I'm actually putting together a video right now of every time I've said just to make a montage.
Yeah, and like
it.
It's not needed, and it makes you sound like you're not sure what you're about to say. And I think even just pausing and taking, sitting. Some of my biggest laughs are just the sitting in silence after something hasn't worked.
Yes.
Just earning back some like honesty points for just being real with him, being like, oh, well, no, I'll never say that one again, or whatever it is, to be like, damn, I really thought you guys would like that, and you did. Like, I worked really hard for, months on these jokes, and y'all don't like them, It's like, that can be, that's how I pivot when something's not working too, which might be a crutch too, but it's just, you're just like, oh, all right, because it's different. The energy is way different versus when you don't get a laugh versus when you do. When you get an early laugh, you feel comfortable, and then you're going more into jokes. You're like hitting taglines. Whereas if they're not laughing at if they're not laughing at the first one, you're like, all right, well, let me tell the next one, and then you have that look of like, all right, even if it's subconscious, it eventually like shows.
I try to personally, like when I go up there, like the first thing I do is to come up with something real short and small that's relative to the actual today.
Yeah.
Just to open myself up.
Make the room authentic and make it. These people are never going to see this show again. They're never going to see, even if they come and see you again, it won't be, even if it's the same jokes, hopefully it's a different vibe. It's a different show. It's a different laugh. It's a different cadence or tags or, it's
one of one,
especially if you make it those moments. I did a show, I wouldn't say it's a show, it's a bar mic on Saturday with Pudding and Maniac, and Pudding did 10 minutes before he went into, and he was just riffing and bullshitting with the bartender and fucking with the people sitting around hardly listening. But by doing that, he got more laughs than I did going before him, doing some riffing but mostly just straight into my material. And then, getting laughs at people that are paying attention, good, but it's a bar. It's like it's like going to Docks on the weekend, It's like, it was stupid, Would we do it again? Probably, because we were fiends and like want stage time that badly, but most people would be like, look at that and be like, I don't even want to go up, So it's tough. You do a lot of mics like that are, but I mean, I probably told you this before. I learned more from bombing than I have from things going well. Things go well, you're like, I'm so funny. I'm gonna do it wrong. I want to post this clip and it's gonna get maybe 50 likes on Instagram. Like
50 likes is a lot to get, dude.
50 likes, you heard that? Yeah. Aaron posted something and I got 50 likes. He'd be like, all right, this is deleting immediately. He's like, I've never done something this low. Like, what is happening? I don't want to keep talking about Aaron, but I posted one comment on one of his videos, and it's the most liked thing I've ever, like, all the things I've ever posted on Instagram combined aren't equivalent to the one comment on one of his, like, videos with Pudding where they're talking about would be honest during your job interview, and I was just like, this is insane to me. Like, almost 3,000 likes. So I was like, for a comment, I was like, all right, this is...
His comment...
Every time I get on there, I'm like, can I just delete the notification? I don't care. Like, who cares? I didn't,
His comment sections move a lot, I will say.
He's got pool for sure.
Oh yeah. So going into your next question, how would you say you go about dealing with any career stress that comes from doing comedy? Do you believe it gives you stress? And if it does, like, how do you resolve it?
The only stress it gives me is like that anxiousness to be on stage. No, it excites me. I'm like the amount that I've gone up and just try to do different. I want to be on different mics. I want to see different comics. I want to steal their powers. Do you know what I mean? Like in Space Jam, where they all touch the basketball and it like shakes. You know, I want to do that and then take the basketball from everyone and then go and be, you know, Michael Jordan. That's a really bad analogy, but
no, that's pretty solid, dude. That makes sense.
I want to, and just for other people, that's like networking. You know, it's doing the same thing, but in other comic communities.
Yeah.
And by wanting, I'm putting on the first show in October, and I'm only having Greenville comics. But my goal is to eventually have out of town comics that I think are hilarious.
Have you found your Greenville comics yet?
Yes, I've completely booked the show for just 4 comics, doing like 15 minutes each. I'll have Jesse come and do a song, probably to kick off the show and end the show, and maybe even an improv team.
It's nice. It's nice. I love to hear it. So let's get into your next question here. What would you say is like the best advice someone has given you so far when it comes to doing the comedy?
I mean, I'm probably just gonna ramble again, like I have for most of these questions.
The rambling's good. It's good ramble. It's not bad ramble.
But I really stay away from words like best. But I've gotten a lot of good ones. And someone that I think is really sage by his amount of time in the scene is Travis. And you know, he has a certain energy to him in his comedy, but he has a magnetism to it as well that it's undeniable. Like he's hilarious, and every time I've seen him step on stage, anyone listening to him thinks so as well. Do you know what I mean? Like he's told me lots of things, you know, just like randomly, not even as like, hey, you should, you know, I've never like asked him directly, and he's never said like, you should do this, but just, you know, of comedy in general, just find the funny, you know, different lessons every time. Study other comedians. You know, some comedians you'll see will literally only be in the room for the 2 minutes before their set, and after their set, they're straight out of the room. You know what I mean? And some comics are really supportive, and they'll sit there for over half the show.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't even really matter how much time you're in there, but when you're in there, are you doing are you engaged? Are you giving the same laughs that you would want them to give you when you're hopefully on stage, you know? And so that's something that I really liked about this mic is starting to come here is everyone's really supportive. Everyone, I started coming in Story. I don't know if you've heard him do his raps and poems, and sometimes he comes and just like supports. And the first time I come in, he was just like clapping and like being really supportive for everyone that would come off stage. Someone would go up there and bomb their jokes, and he'd just be like, dude, you were the man, that was hilarious, you know? And it's like, dude, I could go do jokes if that's what I'm gonna come off to, even if it goes terribly, you know? Like, okay. Like, that's the kind of room that I can start in. Well, that was not your question at all. What was the question?
It was just about best advice.
Don't smoke. It's both best advice.
Yeah. That you've been given. Yeah.
Attack the mic.
That's good.
Yeah, I think I'm done being like, I really want to, from the very beginning, like keep the, you know, Travis has his energy and it works for him. Yeah. And that's not my energy. You know, it's not your energy. It's not Aaron's energy. I'm like, you know, it's not Zach's energy. You know, like everyone has their own energy, but it's channeling that to be as much as a goofball as you are off stage, on stage. And not letting that, like, again, like deer in the headlights panic sit in. And so to do that, you really just have to be unapologetic and, I don't know, not back down. Attack the mic.
You heard it here first. It's really good advice you've been given. And to like actually wrap it up is, what advice would you give the audience directly?
Is this a comedy audience?
To
I would
general
say
audience.
don't do drugs.
Oh, I feel like most of my audience is probably doing that.
Stay away. They're just no good. They're bad news bears. It's going to lead you to a life of delinquency, and you're going to end up doing stand-up comedy.
Oh no.
And then you're going to think your dick jokes are funny, and you're going to get on stage for months at a time and tell them, and get into a really depressive cycle. So don't do drugs. That's my advice for you.
Well, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. I think it was
Appreciate
absolutely amazing. You answered the questions like phenomenally. Like you kept it going. Very
I don't know
long
if I answered
rant
them.
segments, I will say, but they weren't bad rants. They're very productive.
They're on subject-ish. They're all about comedy, so
Yeah.
they might not be answering the questions, but
Well, the questions are supposed to be about you, so
There you go.
they answered just fine. Well, another wonderful episode of Kevin 7. Thank y'all so much for having us. See ya.
peace.